Welcome into the MMA Best Bets for UFC Vegas 56. Of course, UFC Vegas 56 going down on Saturday afternoon inside the UFC Apex, a bright early start time of 1 p.m. Eastern time, which, well, I love early start times. I know my guy Pete loves those early start times. Of course, we are sponsored by BetMGM. Of course, you got to make your bets over there at BetMGM. And of course, they've got a hell of an offer going on right now as bet $10 on an NBA game. Either team hits a three-pointer, then you win $200, which, I mean, look, you know the way NBA is today. They're going to be chucking threes up in the NBA finals. So you got to take advantage of that great offer they have over there. Check out the link in the video description below. Of course, you can also use the promo code OSMMA to claim your $200 now over there at BetMGM. But Pete, we got UFC Vegas 56, and I know when it comes to the money line, you're looking straight at the main event.
Yeah, and the reason is because I think this is a tricky card. It's a tricky card because you feel comfortable in some matchups, but you also have that little voice in the back of your head where you're like, man, I can see them kind of spoiling things for us or possibly just ruining things. And I'm gonna go with Alexander Volkov and his career in its totality. He's just an impressive fighter for the division for sure. A massive human being, put on so much weight compared to his early career. His striking, skill level is just at the highest level. It really is. I mean, he doesn't have knockout power, but it's the volume and the length and just the trickiness with his striking, and mainly the kicks, which is I think going to be a big difference maker here. Is I'm seeing a lot of front kicks to the body to keep Jairzinho at bay, and then just somewhat volume striking. The powerful puncher in Jairzinho Rozenstruik, which is definitely a very, very tall task to not get knocked out and hit with that crazy power. But sitting at minus 160, you're going to be on the edge of your seat. I'd much rather take a shot on the main event just because, I've seen so much from Volkov throughout his career, and it's tough for me to not have confidence that he can go out there and put together a strong performance. 44 professional fights to Jairzinho's 15 MMA fights. So yeah, give me Volkov sitting there at minus 160.
And I thought it was interesting, the article that was on UFC.com this week where he talked about, changing up his training, going into the mountains to train for this one. And of course, finishing up his camp there in LA at Black House. It's one of those fights that, I mean, look, he's just got to stay away from the power from Rozenstruik. I mean, we all know what Jairzinho wants to do. I don't mind that play because I do think if, Volkov's going to win it, this fight's the longer it goes, going to benefit him. For my money line play, I'm going to look to a fight that's going to take place early on in the card, and this was actually a matchup that was supposed to take place on the regional scene a couple years ago at King of the Cage. I'm gonna go with Tony Gravely minus 140 against Johnny Munoz Jr. I do believe that this is one that, look, we may sweat this one out, folks. Just you may sweat this one out for 3 rounds. I do believe Tony Gravely is the better overall mixed martial arts. I believe he has the edge on the feet. Look, if Johnny Munoz, his best chance is to get this to ground to make this a grappling matchup, I still do give a slight edge on the ground to Tony Gravely, but I like Tony Gravely here minus 140 against Johnny Munoz.
I mean, that's an exciting fight. I can't wait to watch it. It's one that you're probably going to be on the edge of your seat as well. This whole card is it's a little tricky, but as long as Tony Gravely can stay out of submission attempts of Johnny Munoz, I think that his wrestling and top game could be enough. It's a tricky fight for sure, but I like where your head's at with that matchup.
Now, as we look over to our 3-fighter parlay, 2 of my 3 fighters are 2 of the biggest favorites on the card. The first one's in the opening fight of the night, Erin Blanchfield. I love this spot for her. Look, do I think the line is a little wide? I do believe it's a little wide. She's a rightful favorite. I mean, you're talking about an over 5-1 favorite. I just think that she'll, work her way. I mean, I'll tell you, I think actually probably the better line in that fight, maybe her winning by decision to get yourself a little better props. But I'm going to team her up with Damon Jackson. He gets a late nose replacement here. And also Joe Selecki, really like that BJJ skills on the ground. Pair those 3 together, plus 128.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And Joe Selecki is a guy that I have my eye on a lot. And I'm just, it's a tough matchup for sure, but man, he's so good at taking the back and implementing strong jiu-jitsu. So I can't blame you there. That's a nice little parlay. I'm going to go with Blanchfield. It's my girl right there. I really like her a lot. I love her promise in the sport. I'm going to pair it with Fakhretdinov. and I'm going to close it out with Michael Trezano. And I know Trezano hasn't really been so exciting within the UFC. I do think that he's a tad bit underrated. I think that he's pretty wise with his striking, good boxing. Just it's the volume that needs to really increase in order to have a lot of success in certain matchups. And I just think the experience of everything is just going to be a little too much for Almeida in his debut. So I have those 3 fighters, and it sits at plus 132.
And of course, those are our 3 fighter parlays. Of course, I appreciate everyone checking out the MMA best bets for UFC Vegas 56. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, comments below as well. Me and Peter are always checking those comments, so appreciate you hit that thumbs up. Of course, you're not subscribed to Odd Shot, be sure to do that, hit that notification bell so you know when a new video is live here on the channel. Of course, we are sponsored by BetMGM. Bet $10 in any NBA game. If either team hits a 3-pointer, then you win $200. Wager must be a pregame money line bet. Click the link in the video description below or use the promo code OSMMA to claim your $200. Now turn big plays into paydays with BetMGM, join the king of sports books. And of course, man, we'll probably have 3-pointers probably bombarded within the first minute of that game. Know how those two teams like to play there. But Pete, as we look at our prop bets, I'm going to go to the matchup of Askar and Menified. I love the under 1.5 rounds here, minus 180. That number I think is only going to skyrocket as we get closer to fight night. This is the one that I've been keeping my eye on for the past couple of days here. The fighting style of both these guys, I don't even see it getting out of the first round.
Yeah, I love that find, Jason. I really do. And it's because Askar he really pushes a crazy pace in round 1, and he goes out there and gets in your face. And he's great at being the hammer, but not so good at being the nail. And Menified has been a little volatile at times. So if you don't have the most confidence in him, it's a violence play. And I love the violent play right there. And I do think that one of these guys are going to go down, and they've shown holes in their games. But I'm leaning heavily in Menified's favor, but an early KO for Askar wouldn't really shock me. So that under is impressive value. For me, my prop bet, I'm going to piggyback off of my Alexander Volkov pick. And the way I think this fight's going to go is he's just going to be the better mixed martial artist over 5 rounds. So give me Alexander Volkov via decision. And that's probably how I would play him just in general, because I don't necessarily see him finishing Jairzinho Rozenstruik. He could. He has the kicks to find something tricky and land a head kick or a knee. But Volkov via decision sits at plus 150. It's a lot better value than the minus 160 of his money line. But I think there's value on both of those. If you think that he has a better chance of knocking him out, or possibly, I can't see a submission happening, but the decision at plus 150 is something I have my eye on.
Yeah, I like it there. To me, that fight's either Volkov wins by decision or Jairzinho knocks him out. That's just the way I see that one going down. But looking forward to that matchup. Should be a fun stylistic matchup of 2 guys. I would imagine. I think the only way that fight hits the ground is if someone gets knocked out. I do expect this going to be a fight that plays out of the feet. Of course, appreciate everyone checking out the MMA best bets for UFC Vegas 56, which goes down on Saturday afternoon inside the UFC Apex in Las Vegas.